What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today it's going to be a good one because it's now coming down to this. Lawmakers say that the next couple of months are going to be big. They're going to be major. They're going to dictate where we go in the future. But why? What's happening? Well, that's what I'm going to discuss in today's video because we are about to see many new bills. Now, before I get into what some of these bills are, what some of the holdups are, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. The next thing is right now, according to multiple reports, the Senate is planning a very busy July. We got a little bit more than half the month left. And according to Senator Chuck Schumer, he says that he is going to be extremely busy and the Senate will be voting on multiple different pieces of legislation. But, just so you know, that does not include Social Security. According to these reports, there'll be more than a dozen pieces of legislation that will be voted on, which in my opinion is crazy because Congress hasn't been able to really pass anything, especially something meaningful. And now they're going to try to pass more than a dozen pieces of legislation. I think that's going to be a very difficult, a very tall task. So here are some of the things that are being considered at this time. What we do know is that there's drug pricing and community health. Okay, this is coming from Axios. There'll be something for fentanyl, energy permitting reform, online safety, bank executive pay clawbacks, rail safety, federal aviation, farm policy, cannabis banking, and obviously policy regarding China. They are also including a framework to regulate AI, artificial intelligence. Nothing in there is for Social Security. There's also a lot of talks from multiple lawmakers saying they are not just going to bend over backwards and pass bills because the majority of lawmakers want it passed. This is what has been done in the past, but they say that's done. They're not doing that. Also, regarding government funding, there will be a vote on this. There will be a bill regarding government funding. However, House GOP conservatives are telling Speaker Kevin McCarthy that they have an ultimatum, that he needs to include less government spending or they vote no. Probably thinking, well, it's not that big of a deal, right? It is, being that this group, there's 21 Republicans in this group that are saying that the funding bill has to be less than what it currently is, or they will vote no. Here's their exact statement. Their statement says, and I quote, "We plan to vote against any appropriations bills designed to achieve the approximately $1.586 trillion top-line spending level, roughly equal to the spending caps agreed to with President Biden in the debt ceiling deal and representing a mere 1% reduction from Democrats' egregious post-COVID spending level." What they are demanding right now, they want to match the fiscal year 2022 amount of $1.471 trillion without using gimmicks. That is part of the problem. Okay? So instead of going for $1.586 trillion, they're going for $1.471 trillion. Okay? So yes, it's not like it's a $1 trillion less, but was it $115 trillion or $115 billion less in federal spending? That is part of the problem, okay? Because right now, in order for the GOP, and again, I bring this up because I think this is going to turn into an issue. If the GOP says, no, we're not spending $1.5 trillion, we'll spend 1.4. The next step is Democrats have to come out and try to give something to Republicans that they would want. Well, if what they want is more, well, I'll just read you the list. If they want something for energy permitting reform, online safety, bank executive pay clawbacks, rail safety, federal aviation, foreign policy, cannabis banking, and policy regarding China or artificial intelligence, well, they can propose some of that stuff, right? That's fine. But it would have to be somewhat of a more of a Democratic policy than a Republican one, if Republicans are already asking for less spending. So again, we'll see what happens there. But according to multiple lawmakers, it's because of these things that, and proposing different pieces of legislation, that they are trying to provide more for the American people, because some feel that Congress in its whole, in its entirety, are not going to pass something that's really going to benefit the American people immediately. So, according to many reports, this is why so many lawmakers continue to push for the child tax credit payments. They continue to push for the elimination of Social Security income tax for certain individuals, provide student loan relief or absolute forgiveness. And now, which was actually just reported, talked about by Vice President Kamala Harris, I believe on Monday, she is now proposing a cap. It's a rule that we've had in place before, but cap childcare costs 7% of a family's income. This is what she had to say. She said, and I quote, "Let's take a family in Montana making $46,000 a year. They could save about $80 every month, or almost over $1,000 a year. That money could go to gas and groceries or to fix a leaky roof." That's what she's saying. Currently, there's about 1.5 million children in this program, but it could save quite a bit of money. So that's what she is proposing. But this is where I bring this up. New bills are coming. Okay, they may not be the bills that you were expecting. It may not be something on Social Security, may not be something on, for the child tax credit payments, maybe not new stimulus checks, whatever. But new bills are coming. The reason why this is so important is because as Republicans propose certain bills, chances are it's not going to be a bipartisan bill. There's only a couple bipartisan bills out there right now. One is for Social Security, but nobody's really talking about it because they want to address these other issues first. Previously, about 4 months ago, 3 months, even 2 months ago, lawmakers are saying that once the debt ceiling crisis was fixed and resolved, then they could go and talk about Social Security. They could talk about the government funding bill. But if you remember the list of things I just gave you, government funding was on that list, but it's pretty much towards the end. Because lawmakers say that is something that we have to do, not something that we want to do. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but what I can tell you is yes, there will be new bills. I don't know exactly when they're coming out. I don't know if they will even pass, but there will be new bills. So, make sure you do two things. First off, hit the like button on this video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I will see you guys on the next one.